Hi, it's Stacy Gates from Manchester Art Studio. I know that everyone is trying to find ways to stay sane during this difficult time, ways to keep the kids engaged, and ways for them to be creative. So I've been trying to think of a lot of different projects and was having a difficult time kind of picking one, and I think I've done it. So hopefully it will solve several different issues. One, it will get the kids outside looking for rocks and sticks. Secondly, they'll be doing an art project, so that will keep them occupied. And then third, it's something that can be given out within the community. So it'll help bring the community together in a time where we're also being so isolated and practice social distancing. So what the project isn't new. We're going to be painting rocks and painting sticks. So I will say that I am a total trendsetter in not many things. One is drinking iced coffee, which I've done for years. The other one is kind of the kindness rocks. So way back in 2013, I did a summer camp and we made 40 different monster rocks. And then the 8 kids had a piece of town and they had to spread them around. And slowly over the summer, people would start taking those rocks. Here's a picture of one on a fire hydrant that we did. So this was 2013. In addition, I do lots of rocks. I have lots of rocks. I have a garden in front of the studio and I have little painted rocks around that. And then I also do classes on painting mandalas on rocks. Here's a couple of those. So rocks and I go way back. And then I also love doing things with natural materials. So I've also painted a little stick that would be kind of fun to paint. You can look at each stick that you find and try to figure out a way of how you can make it a little critter. So anyway, so what I was thinking is that we could paint rocks and then either put it somewhere in town for anybody to pick up who comes upon it, or you can really give it to somebody to say thank you, or to somebody that's having a especially hard time. It could be an elderly person, somebody with medical issues that's having a extremely difficult time, very fearful, just to cheer them up. It could be somebody in the hospitals that are working overtime to really help people who are deeply affected by this pandemic. Here's a couple of rocks that I painted for this. So it says, "It will get better." Another one I did, this was actually in my garden, that says, "Spread love, not germs." And then the third one says, "We have hope." So anyway, let's get started with this. So what you will need is a rock. We'll be using acrylic paint because we really do want this to last in the elements. So because you're going to be using acrylic paint, you want to make sure that you cover up your surface. You put a smock on your kids, because if it gets on your clothes and dries, it really will not come out, and then you will end up looking like me. Paint on all my clothes. So you're going to be using acrylic paint. This is your basic craft paint. So you don't want to use tempera paint. Another thing you could use are Sharpies. And then I also have paint pens. And these are good for a lot of my lettering I did with paint pens. So basically this is easy to do. We're gonna just be painting the rocks. So figure out what colors you want to choose. If you don't have a palette, I'm just using a piece of aluminum foil to put my paint on. I've also got out some paper towels. I've got a cup of water to clean my brushes. And I have a couple different size brushes. So no idea where I put them. but this one will work. So I am just going to start painting my rock. So I can paint it one color, or I can paint it multiple colors. It is totally up to you. Okay, once I have this completely covered, then we can work on the designs. All right, I'm back. I have painted my rock stripes, turquoise and orange stripes. So at this point, I really kind of look at my rock and try to figure out what I want to do, what I want to say. This is totally making me want to do a monster rock again. Not sure why, but that's what I'm going to do. So I got some white and some black paint and put it on my aluminum foil. And I am going to start painting some eyeballs and a mouth. So I'm just going to go do some nice big circles up here. In the rocks that we did, I'm doing 2 eyeballs, but if you do a monster rock, monsters have 1 eye, 2 eyes, 3 eyes, funky eyes, so it doesn't have to just be 2. So, all right, so we're gonna let this white dry, and then we'll add some black to it. One of my tips that I've been doing while I was off camera is when I was painting, I was then going over to my area of the studio I call my hair salon that has a couple of hair dryers. So it just speeds up the drying of the project to grab a hair dryer from the bathroom and bring it down to your art making area. And it'll just make the different coats of your project go quicker. All right, so I should probably do this upside down so you can see what I'm painting, but I've got this nice big wide open mouth. There. So the beginning of our monster. So at this point I can decide, what else I want to do. I think he needs some little hair up here. So we're gonna kind of do some strands of hair. Those are strands of hair. And I think we can go ahead and do the eyes. So I'm gonna add some pupils. I'm putting a lot of paint on my brush because the white is not totally dry. It's always looking a little better here. So I would take a thin brush at this point and do a little line around the eyes. One tip for doing thin lines, well actually a couple of tips, is hold your brush down really close and also maybe add a little bit of water to your paint. I don't know if you can see this. You kind of make it a little thinner and that will make a nice thin line as well. All right, so we have a couple of eyes. So I think what I'm going to do with this one is right on that middle of his face, I'm gonna write, I think, smile. And we're gonna give him a big smile. So another tip is I like to start with the middle letter of the word that I'm doing so that it's centered in it. So smile has 5 letters, so I'm going to start with the I, and I'm going to write that right in the middle. Okay, got an I, we've got an M, Trying to do a little funky font here because it is a monster. So I've got the 3 letters, and now I'm going to add the S. And this is a good time to kind of thin that paint again. I'm not pressing hard on the rock. This is what you call it, having a smile written right in the middle of your face. All right, so now we have smile, and now I think the black from in the mouth is pretty dry. So when you're switching from black to white, you really want to make sure your brush is clean. I'm gonna try to move this up. I feel like my head is getting cut off. Okay, so now we're gonna do white teeth. So white teeth, we're gonna just make little triangles for the teeth. So we're gonna come here, just doing the little outline. I may want to do 2 coats of this. I'm gonna have 2 teeth on top, and I think 1 in the middle. He's looking pretty cute. And then we'll just do 1 in the middle. All right, so here's this rock. So I might add a few other things, but for now, just to show you, you can do this. Smile is an important word to me, and it kind of means that I'm loved. So it's just a little reminder, I think, for people that are going through a hard time that you can smile and everything is going to be okay. All right, that's our rock. Same thing really with a stick. We're not really doing words, but again, to paint your stick one color, do it stripes, do it whatever. And here with this rock, or this stick, I think what I would do is make this the mouth. So put an eyeball up here and have a big gaping mouth with teeth coming from it. And then do the body down here. You could also do it this way. Look at this, kind of looks like a little crocodile thing here. Make these eyeballs, the snout. So again, it's just using your imagination, using a little paint, having fun making art, and then passing it along to someone who needs some love right now. All right, thanks for visiting. I am always happy to share art supplies with people that need them. So if you do not have acrylic paint, if you do not have paint brushes, please let me know, and I am happy to put some in my outside storage bench for you to pick up. We're all in this together. Let's do what we can to help each other out. Be safe, be well, and I hope to see everybody soon out and about. Bye.